I remember that evening like it was etched in stone. Jessica sat across from me at the dining table, her fingers tracing the rim of her coffee cup, eyes distant, almost rehearsing something in her mind. I could feel the tension in the air, heavy and suffocating, as though the room itself knew what was coming. Finally, she looked up, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "So, Tom and I are planning a short work trip next month," she said, her voice trying to sound casual. "Just a few days, nothing serious." My heart didn't race with shock. I had been bracing for this, sensing the cracks long before she spoke them aloud. Late-night texts, secretive calls, unexplained absences, they were all pieces of a puzzle I had reluctantly started to see. I leaned back, keeping my face neutral, letting her words hang in the air like smoke. She seemed to think my quietness meant ignorance, or worse, approval. But I wasn't fooled. She hurried on, insisting it was all professional, conferences, presentations, the usual corporate nonsense. She laughed nervously, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, and avoided my gaze, but I had already seen the truth. The email confirmation was clear. 2 names. 1 room. A king-sized bed. This was not about work. It was betrayal, carefully dressed up as a duty. Instead of anger, a strange calm washed over me. She thought she could outsmart me, but she was about to learn how wrong that assumption was. I set my cup down with deliberate slowness, my voice cutting through the tension like ice. "And you really think this is just work?" I asked, watching her eyes widen, a flicker of panic crossing her face. Her attempt to seem casual collapsed instantly, replaced by guilt she could not hide. "You've got it all wrong," she whispered, trembling. "Tom is just a friend, a coworker. Nothing more." But her eyes betrayed her story, darting away, anxious and guilty. I reached for my phone and pulled up the saved screenshot of the hotel booking. The truth glowed back at her in sharp, undeniable clarity. I pushed the phone toward her. "So, tell me again," I said, voice calm but icy, "what kind of work requires an ocean view suite together?" She stared at the screen, color draining from her face. Tears welled in her eyes as her composure collapsed entirely. She murmured that she hadn't meant for things to go so far, that she just needed space, and he offered it. I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "Space?" I repeated, shaking my head. "You don't take a lover to a secluded beach for space, Jessica. You take him because you've already chosen him over me." The silence that followed was suffocating. For years, I had been her anchor, her constant, the man who loved, trusted, and supported without question. And now, she had plotted to humiliate me with a romantic escape. She reached across the table, voice breaking, "Please, let's talk. I'll cancel. I'll end it with him right now." But I pulled my hand back, my resolve only hardening. Calmly, I stood, letting my presence fill the room. "No, Jessica. This isn't something you end. It's something you've already done. And your little trip? Perfect timing, for our divorce." Her breath caught. "Divorce," she whispered, panic rising. "We built a life together, you can't mean that." My glare silenced her instantly. I returned to the table, holding an envelope. Inside were the divorce papers I had prepared the moment I discovered the hotel booking. I placed it deliberately in front of her. "Sign them when you're ready," I said flatly. She crumpled, sobbing, pleading, begging me to reconsider. But in that moment, I was no longer her husband. I was a man reclaiming his dignity, standing upright after the betrayal had threatened to crush me. Her attempts to manipulate me with tears and desperate words held no power. Over the next week, she tried everything: long messages, voicemails filled with apologies, even a dramatic visit to my office. But nothing broke the wall I had built. My silence was not cruelty, it was self-respect. The marriage she had destroyed with her choices no longer demanded my participation. Tom disappeared as soon as her world started unraveling. Friends who once defended her recoiled at the proof. Even family, who had urged me to forgive, could no longer deny the reality. Betrayal, I learned, isn't something you mend, It's a fracture too deep for glue, a wound that leaves permanent scars. I moved forward slowly. The house felt empty, painfully so, but with each passing day, the emptiness transformed into freedom. No more lies. No more doubt. No more pretending. And as months passed, I realized that her betrayal had not been my loss, it had been my liberation. She had lost the man who truly loved her, and all she was left with was regret. When she spoke of that trip, thinking she could deceive me, she misjudged entirely. My cold response, the quiet declaration of divorce, shattered her carefully constructed world. In that moment, I didn't just end a marriage, I reclaimed my life, my pride, and my peace. The man she thought she could control was gone, replaced by someone unbroken, unshakable, and finally free.